I'll wait till it's 6 o'clock. Joseph City Council, September 6th, 6 p.m. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mayor Rick Schultz is under the weather. I'm Kevin Klusner, acting mayor, so I'll be conducting the meeting of this evening. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a public comment? Come to the podium. Come to the podium and state your name and address.
And 9850 Jenny Lane, St. Joseph. I've been looking at certain things, watching what's going on, and I was at a meeting where this sewer project came up. And I was speaking to several people about it, and nobody knows anything about this. So I know you're gonna say, well, it's on our website, but I think we need to, we would like to be more informed. I don't think we're informed enough. Also this boutique hotel that we want to, in all these areas you have slate. Where's all this money coming from, I mean, I see a lot of money and all these trails and parks. I mean, how many parks does one city need? I don't like it. I know there's a lot of other people that don't like it. And I would like to be more part of, like, now your park board. I asked if I could be on the park board. Well, you're appointed by the mayor. So how do I know who he's picking to be on this park board? Maybe we need to be more diverse. I mean, why shouldn't I be able to be on the park board? Why does he get to pick all the people? I guess those are some of my concerns. So I guess that's all I have to say for now.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Agenda is approved. Consent agenda.
I'll move to approve consent.
And second.
Motion and second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion?
Yeah, I got one question on item F there. What's the handheld microphone?
Oh.
Wasn't that from the Lions to be able to utilize in the space of the club?
Yeah, I know we talked about it probably
Yep.
3-4 meetings ago that the Lions were gonna buy one for Millstream
Oh,
to
okay.
house at the complex itself, and then to donate to the city, because then anybody who rents it out should be able to use it. So the
and
Lions bought it.
I've kind of thought that was a PA system when we
Yeah.
discussed it, but
Yeah, kinda
this
like
is a bullhorn.
more handheld kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Just,
Council, just to clarify, so the Lions does not intend to have it used for the public. So they want to use it for their events, and certainly if the city wanted to use it, internally, the city could use it, but their intent is not to have it be utilized by the public.
okay.
Oh, so then it's not a donation then?
No.
Okay.
So why is the city buying it and then getting reimbursed? Why is that process being done?
Yes, so Mayor Schultz had brought it up, must've been a few months back in regards to the Lions wanting to have a microphone system They can't use their gambling funds to purchase it, so they had suggested that they reimburse the city so that we would be able to purchase it and they could use it and the city could also use it. So that is their request and that's what's being asked of you this evening.
Okay, but okay, so you just said that the
Bob,
city
Bob-
can use it.
Bob, do you want to pull this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Let's
sounds,
pull F, and then, is there a motion? There is a motion
Yeah.
to approve the consent agenda. We're pulling F. All in favor to approve the balance of the consent agenda, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Okay, so the consent agenda passes with the exception of F, so who is the next person to talk on F?
I would move it to table it before I get, to get some definite answers on there, because right now we're kind of guessing.
I would agree with Bob.
Well, so what I got from it is the Lions want to be able to use it at the facility in Millstream, correct? They want the city to purchase it, but then the city would be ownership and can use it wherever. Is that correct?
That's not what I heard.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking, though.
Yeah,
So the city would be able to use it for internals, but it wouldn't be open to the public. So if staff needed it for some sort of event, city function event, they would be able to use it. The Lions does not want it open to the public.
So, but the city would own it,
Correct,
and it would be stored there at Millstream.
correct.
One of the other reasons too for the city purchasing it is because we can purchase it with our tax exemption. Besides what Teresa had mentioned too with the gambling funds, it's very restricted how the Lions can spend their gambling, money. And so they
So,
can't purchase it directly for themselves
through their gambling funds, but they do have a general fund.
if there's money in there. That is
So-
correct.
But what I'm hearing is
it doesn't sound right to me.
I'm hearing a stipulation to it. That's what I'm hearing.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, fine if they want the city to purchase based upon the, skirting the sales tax, but then to put the stipulation on it that the city admin or an official in the city can use it and not the public. That don't sound right
I think
to
if we
me.
purchase it and it stays at Millstream, then anybody should be able to use it
Yeah,
if they use Millstream.
exactly.
With a rental price maybe.
Correct.
A
Yeah.
conversation of that so that there's a respect to the equipment.
Right.
Yep.
So,
But that would be my thought.
like I said, I'd move the table until we can get someone from the Lions here to, get into more detail or why, what, and where.
Well, and yeah, I agree. I second.
Sorry.
Nope, you're good.
Move and second to table. Any further discussion?
Yeah, my only thing would be just to, once they get them in here, is they have a general fund just like everybody else in an organization, which they could use to purchase this. If they are the ones that just want to use it, just them. So,
All in favor of tabling F, signify by saying aye.
aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, next, ordinances. Who is leading this discussion?
I'll lead this one, the park board ordinance. So over the last year, we've had issues with the lack of quorum with our park board. And currently, we have a 7-member board, one of which is a council member who has no voting rights. So in order to even have a meeting, a quorum, it has to be 4 voting members. So we've even had issues with that. So I had clarified this with our legal counsel in regards to what constitutes a quorum, when they need to make a formal recommendation to the council and voting and so forth. So one of the things that she recommended, and staff also is recommending, is that you reduce the number of voting members to 5, and that would be due to our member attendance issues. Just to, like I said, just to even have a quorum, and then of course if there's any votes that need to take place, that can be accomplished with that number. So I just wanted to bring that in front of you, and the ask for this evening is for you to direct staff to draft amendments to that park board ordinance. And again, get direction from you if you're agreeable to reducing that number to 5. And then frankly, take that opportunity to look at the park board ordinance in whole as well to see if there's other opportunities to amend elsewhere.
How big is the park board now?
7 members.
7?
How often are people not showing up to it?
Consistently.
So if you drop to 5, then your voting members would only have to be 3?
Correct.
Quorum, yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, I'm not either, but, you know, it's kind of ironic, we just had one person speak to
Join a
Wanting to
park.
be on.
joining, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that's.
You can show up
totally
and
ironic
get your
to me,
info.
I agree.
You know, so. But there is an attendance policy in that board too, you know.
Yeah.
I can't quote it right offhand, but,
You are correct.
yeah.
Is it so many meetings you miss or
So
no?
many missed.
So Mary Kay, who knows?
I would agree.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm okay with that, with the direction of doing that.
I'll move to have staff draft an amendment to the park board ordinance.
I second it.
Do we need a formal movement for that or?
Oh, sorry, we
No, it's
don't, we don't.
If you,
But-
since it's
Just
on the
directing,
table,
yes.
it's fine.
Yep.
Yep, you
No
can do a
offense.
motion, it's fine.
Motion and second to direct staff to amend the park board ordinance. Any further discussion?
You know, this way we can come back and say, where is it? And they can say, well, there was no order from the council.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. How do we pronounce that? Cannabinoid? Is that spelled correctly?
Cannabinoid.
Cannabinoid.
It is.
Cannabinoid
Yes.
ordinance.
Cannabinoid, that's what we're going with.
Who's experienced in this product and wants to lead the discussion?
I won't comment on the experience part. No, I'm kidding. So council, before you this evening is a draft ordinance relating to THC and hemp-derived products. If you remember, you did pass an ordinance providing for a moratorium on the sale of hemp-derived THC food and beverages in the city. That moratorium is for up to a period of 1 year. Since then, the city of St. Cloud has drafted an ordinance, which is before you. And the goal is to really have the area cities be in line with regulation, licensing, those types of things. Currently, the sellers of these types of product are not licensed by the state, so the proposed ordinance would provide some framework to those regulations. If you have any comments or questions on it, feel free.
Where is
to
that
ask.
framework that you're talking about, and where is cause like you just shared that there isn't a kind of a control over the sellers, and so how would we make sure that that's being covered?
Right,
That
so
we can't
with,
just buy it from Joe Schmo.
correct, so within the ordinance, it does break down where they can be sold, packaging limitations. There's a bunch of different parameters within this ordinance that basically spells out who can sell it, who they can sell it to, where it can be sold in the city.
In this, cause I didn't come across that, I came across,
So here's my question too, is you're saying license requirement, right? The state currently does not do that.
Correct.
Is the state talking about eventually licensing through the state?
There have been no talks yet. It was kind of one of those things that was put in the bill and it was passed, and cities are, which is why we put in the moratorium too, and other cities
Right.
are doing that as well to kind of buy time to get those regulations in
So
place.
is it something in here where license required would have to get through the city?
Correct.
okay,
Much
we-
like a tobacco
Yep.
license.
and do you see that?
I
That's what I'm-
don't. Well, I
okay.
see that, it just says, it'll be unlawful for any person to sell at retail for the cannabinoid products delivered from hemp within the city unless the person holds a retail cannabinoid product license. But does it say it from the city?
Section 614.04, license required.
Yep, that's what I just read,
Yeah.
Yep, that's kind of vague,
but it doesn't say the city.
right.
Should it say that? through the city of St. Joseph?
So the next section, 61405, it talks about filing their application with the city clerk.
Okay.
And then it runs through that entire process.
Oh, okay.
The fees aren't in the,
The fees are not in ordinance, they're actually in the city
Okay.
fee schedule.
okay. Have we created a fee for that yet?
Not yet, that'll come before you the first meeting in October when this ordinance will come back, hopefully the first meeting in October for passage. And then at that point too, we will add the fee schedule amendment to that. And just in preliminary talks, we were thinking of having the fee be similar to tobacco, which is $100 a year.
Sale has to be within a, I'm assuming a place of business though, correct? Can't just come in and, I'm gonna say, I want to sell this out of my home, right? Says that
correct.
in there?
Yeah, so the other item that we're looking at is looking at zoning districts too. I know that's kind of on the area cities. We're kind of looking at, do we spell it out within, taking a look at the different zoning districts. And so Nate will have that conversation with the planning commission at their next meeting, but we're kind of watching what the other area cities are going to do as well. Do we govern it under retail? Is it just general retail, or do we spell it out in regards to the zoning district ordinances?
See, that's where I got a problem with this draft is subsection 13 there.
Okay, and that's what this.
For any retail, no,
Right.
we have to
Define retail.
Define more.
define, well, not just retail, but the zone, where, I mean,
It's a really good point, and that's what the purpose of tonight's meeting is, to get it in front of you, that first draft, for you to
okay.
all
Well,
provide
that's
that
my
input.
concern,
Okay.
you know.
Well, at least it says does not include, liquor stores, residential homes. It does say that, convenience stores, gasoline. So really, what it's saying here is it would have to be its own business. Is what I'm reading here, correct? The ordinance does not include exclusive, right? Liquor stores, residential homes, convenience stores, gasoline service stations, bars and restaurants.
Yeah, I think that's the intent
that's
for the
Right.
current draft, but yeah, we'll have more discussions like from a zoning perspective.
Yep.
On, standalone establishments versus a establishment that maybe offers other products in addition to,
Right.
'Cause right now, the meat market could sell it by this.
Right.
Well, like any business can.
Yeah, any
Right.
business, which is kind of a wide open area, you know.
So the moratorium's still in play, correct?
Right.
This is just a draft, I see.
Correct, and the moratorium will be in place until you rescind it.
Business-wise, have there been any inquiries into this type of business or so-called?
no, I have had zero.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just wondering if there's anything pushing out there that's, waiting for all
No,
this
I would just-
moratorium stuff to pass.
Not that has risen to my attention.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Nate or Kayla, this language came from,
City of St. Cloud.
and their attorneys drafted it, or did they get it from somebody else?
Their attorneys and staff drafted it.
Okay.
Has Sue looked at it?
And what's the
I-
take from the other cities? I'm sure the other, Way Park, Sartell, et cetera, have looked at all this draft
Right,
to get some type of inkling on
right,
where everybody's going.
Yeah.
Or,
yes,
St. Cloud's kind of taking the lead on this because they got the draft out already.
right. And there's an intent and a desire to have the same ordinance in our
Right.
area,
Which makes sense to
Yeah.
have,
Be consistent.
yeah.
right?
Did you
So
have-
St. Cloud will be having a public hearing coming up in September here, so they haven't formally adopted it, but, we'll take this input that you provide tonight and obviously get it updated from the area cities, and we'll have Sue, our attorney, review it as well.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Sounds good.
Any other discussion?
No.
Okay, item 6, hazardous building, 13 Second Avenue Northwest. Who is leading that discussion?
Yeah, I will take that on. So, known as the former JR Mobile site, as you can see from the staff report and the pictures in there, I think speak volumes that the building is deteriorating. It continues to deteriorate. Staff has been in correspondence with the property owner on numerous occasions over the last several months, and unfortunately, there has been no movement. There was some cleanup that went on, but again, right now, there hasn't been much movement. So we did have our building official inspect the property along with Ryan in July, and you can see the findings in the staff report regarding what we believe to be mold, the structure of the building deteriorating, and so forth. So before you this evening is a resolution to proceed under Minnesota Statute 463.17, and that's for inspection and abatement of a hazardous building.
I'll move on resolution 2022-0045.
I second it.
Motion and second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I know there's a 10-day and a 30-day window in there. Is that according to law, or is that just an arbitrary number
No,
that
that
was
is
thrown out?
according to the law, that is the process. And then that's just to start. And what happens at that point, we would file with the courts, and usually they allow more time.
Okay, so it's subject to discretion of the courts or whatever?
Right.
They put that in writing, or is that?
Yeah, so if there is no, action within the 10 days, then Sue would file with the courts. And again, what usually comes back is they allow additional time. It's just part of the process.
Okay, so the city's filing this where it's gonna go to the owner?
Right.
Then the owner has so much time to comply, and then if not, then it goes to the judicial courts?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Any further discussion? We have a motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 7, mayor and council reports and miscellaneous business. Which means we don't have department reports at this meeting. Is that correct?
We don't, but this is an opportunity for you all to share updates, or, just share things that you have heard from the public, or research, or what have you, or miscellaneous business, whatnot.
I do have something I want to follow up on that the mayor asked me to, and that had to do with the, is it the active transportation plan? Nate and Therese were kind of asked by, or something to
APO plan?
submit to the APO, yeah, the
Okay.
ATP to go to the APO. Where are we at on that?
So from my understanding, the APO has their active transportation plan going to their board on, I believe it's Thursday. So within that plan, they have the various cities, including us, and they have depicted what's, they feel from a regional perspective makes sense for trails and sidewalks in our community. Randy and I did meet with APO staff months back. This was probably last summer now. And during that meeting, we did provide some input. At that time, we had not established if you recall, a couple months ago, the council approved a amended transportation plan, our city plan, where we had added some connections and trails and sidewalks into that. We had not progressed that far when we had initially spoke with the APO staff. So that wasn't, just to keep that in mind, that wasn't, in our back pockets at all during those conversations. So, yeah, that's kind of where the APO is at with this plan and timeline.
I thought we talked about this sidewalk at a meeting several months ago, and there was some people asking what's the purpose of a sidewalk to nowhere? Was that part of the conversation, or?
Yeah,
This
so
sidewalk's gonna go past the McDonald's, right?
Yep.
And then eventually go across a roundabout that'll get built at some point in the future at Allen. and then keep,
County Road.
and then keep going to 15th Avenue. Is there a 15th Avenue? Okay. I'm just trying to, I think of that part of town, there's just a field on the left-hand side.
Yeah, so I think the council had looked at this at one of the workshops. I don't recall when that was. But yeah, that was one of the concerns that was brought up. And I think APO's response is they're trying to look at, again, connections in and out of the regional area. So some of those county roads and that's why they have some of that depicted, from my understanding.
And then does the APO come up with these projects, these ATP priorities, or is it driven by us?
So the APO led this. They were the ones that formulated the plan. That they did, again, reach out to us. We did provide some input at that time, and then the council looked at it at one of the workshops. And I know there's been some other concern, but I'm not sure what the concern is, if there's a specific project that's identified on there. If so, then that would be helpful, and we can relay that to the APO. And they had paused the adoption of this plan for some time. I think they were looking to adopt it earlier than September, but yeah.
I think they're trying to get the adjoining cities' plans all together and see if they match up and, you know, so we don't build a bridge that goes nowhere.
And that's how I'm understanding, that's what we're waiting for, correct? Bob,
What's
is
that?
that what we're waiting for, is
Well,
for the surrounding to see if
I'm
they'll
gonna use the word
connect?
assume, which I don't like to use, but, I think on the APO's end, they're trying to get all these plans together and then
Situated.
come up with a
Master plan.
master plan to, I mean, this ain't gonna happen next year. You know?
Right.
This is just a vision of the future, and which changes every 5-10 years anyway.
And keep in mind too, the planning commission next meeting is gonna discuss, so we have that updated transportation plan. But within that plan, we wanna identify, kind of like a chronological order of project significance and which ones we should target first. That's gonna help staff for grants and that. So planning commission will be talking about that at their next meeting. Park board will also talk about that, and then we'll circle back with council on those recommendations and kind of get that consensus from council. So then that way, staff can go out strategically, and this is our number one priority and our gap that we should fill. Boom, we can go for a grant for that, so.
Okay.
I do have something also, if that's okay, if I can bring,
Yeah, I think we've kind of wrapped up that conversation.
is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Go.
perfect. I did have, St. Joe citizen approach me on transportation. And it was a community that doesn't have access to vehicles and had questioned, has the city entertained conversation about possible, the Metro bus coming out into this area, that kind of collaboration in the sense, and so, in the past, talking to the staff, have we had conversations on that and being able to bring, the bus out this way?
So it's been a number of years now, but, you know, Bob can speak to this, but there has been conversation in the past. Again, it's been a number of years now.
The last time we discussed this, and I'm gonna say 6-7 years ago probably, I might be wrong, but it's, you know, quite a while ago. And we did all the study, all our due diligence and whatever. And just off the top of my head, I believe the city's share of having a Metro bus here on a limited basis, not a regular bus route or whatever, the cost was a subsidy to MTC of, I think it was 1.75 million, if I am correct in that number. you know, and I'm
So
sure
we
that,
had done studies on this.
I'm sure that number has escalated through the past, or through the future.
Is it possible, Nate, could we look at any kind of grants or any kind of, can we start a conversation at all to see if that's a possibility? Because students also saying that they don't have vehicles, they gotta get into, for internships and things like that, into the city for their jobs and stuff. And so I wanted to see if we can bring that to the table for conversation, and if there's any kind of grants or anything that we could probably look at.
So I don't know off the top of my head of any grants per se, but we can definitely reach out to some of the organizations that are already providing some of that transportation, like TriCat, maybe, and see what is possible or what could be enhanced or what, you know, could even occur.
Okay.
I think, yeah, the Metro bus is very difficult. Just they go off population, density, other factors that are outside of our control. And I know, like in Sartell, they did a pilot program called the Connects, where it goes, picks you up from your door and then drops you off at your destination, but it's only within that community.
Okay.
And that was kind of a pilot program that they just extended out. So I don't know if that's a possibility. We can definitely have more conversations
Okay.
and try to see.
Have
If-
any
if-
numbers come out of that Sartell pilot program?
They should
I'm
have
trying-
ridership numbers,
they-
and then the,
Yeah.
well, even costs. So that's something that
Yeah.
we certainly, if the consensus is, we can explore
Right.
TriCap services and Metrobus if that's what you'd like us to do.
Well, if you got nothing else to do. I mean, I know where it's gonna go, just from my experience and my conversations in the past.
Yeah, I think Metrobus, I can't speak for them, but it's gonna be kind of hard unless there's some kind of unique pilot thing that maybe they can get more funding or grants from as
Right.
well. TriCap, those kind of organizations may make more sense to try to
Well,
target.
And two, since this is some students that are coming forward, you know, if we could maybe utilize the expertise of some of our professors at CSB, SJU, you can't tell me that they haven't had some conversation in this or isn't in the process
Yeah, they
of
have their
it.
own bus service.
And so only on very minute, not during the week, sir. So that's the problem. That's the problem that the students are coming to the table with. So, so I think we can at least have a conversation about this and being able to accommodate if we can. Thank you.
I'm just gonna talk two questions on, I know Dwight, we've had students here, you know, how is moving? Is there any big complaints that have kind of come to with moving everything else, downtown buzzing, more than 1,700 people coming back into our town?
Just busy. Yeah.
Okay,
Nothing out of the ordinary.
okay. Have you guys still had any, I know you and the mayor were still meeting with the colleges still, is that still happening, or did that
Tomorrow morning.
happen? Okay,
First Wednesday of the month at 8 o'clock.
okay. Well, then more to follow up on the 19th.
They
Thank
walked
you.
on my newly planted grass. Not good. Footprints.
Okay, any other comments, issues? Okay,
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor of adjourning, signify by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned.